3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, we are in the after show portion of Gun Talk. We're having a bunch of fun around here because, well, it's the after show, and that's what we do. We got Jim Kinsey over there. Hello, James.
Greetings again.
And we have not Tom here. The lovely Michelle Cleland has shown up.
Hello.
You took a vacation. You went somewhere. What'd you do?
Well, we had some time out, yes. We had, first of all, we were shooting our national, so that took us out of state.
Yes.
Yep. And
how'd you do?
We did really good considering it was great weather, not. We were, in pouring down rain,
shooting black powder?
Oh, yeah, shooting black powder, wearing
what could go wrong?
Muck boots with your, water up past your ankles. It's always great shooting muskets and Smith carbines and all that type of stuff in the
pouring rain.
And
yeah, now we're having fun.
Yeah, there are no covered shooting ports. If anybody thinks, well, just go for coverage. Yeah, there isn't any. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
The mountain men didn't have cover, so right. There you go. Suck it up.
They didn't have those little 10x10 pop-up canopy tents.
I know, right? So, but
who knew?
Yeah, they had buffalo robes. Come on. Oh, boy. I tell you, we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but we do have some folks that have been kind enough to stay on with us and share some patience, which is something we don't really have a lot of around here. So, line 2, Willie is with us. It's Willie or Wiley? I don't know which, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Is it Willie or Wiley?
It's Wiley, like the coyote.
Wiley Coyote is now with us. How you doing, Wiley? What's up?
I'm doing good. I called in to talk about, I sent you a couple emails earlier, and I looked at the Streamlight ProTac 1L.
Right.
And as soon as my dad gets back from Mass, he's gonna look at it with me, and I'm gonna try to convince him to let me order it.
It's a nice little flashlight, good little pocket flashlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being 17 only, so I have to ask my dad before I order stuff like that. So.
Well, that's great. Not all 17-year-olds have to do that. So something's going right with your family, I got to tell you.
Oh, then again, most 17-year-olds already have an iPhone, and I don't, so.
There you go.
Okay, good deal. So what can I help you with?
I had a few ideas on regards to the first-person defender.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to watch very many of your shows, and they look really good, but I was thinking that one thing that I personally would like to see and I would like to participate in would be one geared more towards people like under 21. Like, that would be the people I would think would be in it for hand-to-hand combat without, like, either before guns come into play for people who are over 21 and able to have a concealed carry, or people who are under 21 and do not have access to a concealed carry.
Mm-hmm. Well, and for anybody else, because they're often called combatives. It's basically unarmed fighting. And, of course, Jim, you do a lot of martial arts. I know that Greg Lappin, one of our good friends and trainers, he is very much into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which he thinks is the one that probably people ought to really be looking at in terms of just real, honest-to-good fighting, not playing and all that.
Because it's real-world stuff. It's not like, okay, we're going to bow and we're going to tighten our belts. And it's real-world stuff that works. And it's both ground game as well as standing.
Well, that's a good point, because people don't understand that if you're in a real fight, you are going to end up on the ground. Is that a fair statement?
Unless you can end it quick, and they end up on the ground. That's kind of the idea.
It's the whole idea, right?
Yeah. You can't just say, okay, we're going to just, box it out here in the street here, pal. That's not real world.
Well, I always said, people say, well, it's a fair fight. I said, I totally reject the idea of a fair fight. If I'm in a fair fight, somehow I have screwed up. What's that old deal? If you find yourself in a fair fight, your tactics suck.
Yeah. Pretty much.
To me, a fair fight is I have a 2x4 and you don't.
Yeah, well, if you're expecting a fair fight, you might as well expect to lose too. Since you're going out on a limb so far, you might as well make preparations.
Guy's not going to do a fair fight.
Well, and you're completely reactionary at that point in time.
Good point.
I mean, they intended on starting something. most of the time.
Right. Wiley, I would, and I appreciate the advice, the suggestion, because we have looked into that. We've included that a little bit, but not a lot. If you really are interested in combatives, that type of thing, I would encourage you to get involved in martial arts. In particularly, I think, Jim, would you suggest the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or what's your take?
First of all, any martial art, just get
anything.
Into it. Yeah, because it changes. Actually, changes your whole life. That has nothing to do with the combat aspect. It's great for mental discipline and all kind of stuff, and stuff you don't even realize. And you've been in it a couple months, you go, wow, that changed, and I didn't even realize it. So I mean, I would get into any martial arts, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is great because, again, if you end up on the ground, you need to know what you're doing, as opposed to, well, they never taught me this in just karate class, or judo class told me how to flip somebody, but not what to do once I got them down. So I think that's a great form. I don't study that. One of my senseis also teaches that, and I've watched the guys do it, and it's pretty amazing. They're simple stuff too. It's a lot like judo in the aspect of leverage. I mean, you can drop some. Well, you've seen Masad do it, right? He just grabs your thumb and you're on your knees crying like a baby.
I was the victim of that on TV. Yeah,
and he's
okay, I'm done.
Right, and the force he's exerting on his end is a pound or two of pressure, and it's brought a grown man to his knees. So there's a lot to be said about any martial arts, but yeah, I wouldn't stay away from Brazilian by any means.
Okay, very good. Hey, Wiley, I appreciate your call. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. Let's see. Line 3, we got Paul with us right now out of Spring County, Oregon. Hey, Paul, you're up.
Hey, we had a baker here about a year ago that refused to make a cake specifically designed for a gay wedding. And boy, did he get nailed with the administrative law, $100 and some fine and so on. It's still kind of being litigated. But what's the difference between that and a legitimate business like Google and the rest of them, the banks, not or refusing to do business with a constitutionally protected legitimate business like gun dealers and gun manufacturers?
Interesting comparison.
Well, you're trying to apply common sense, Paul. That's the.
Yes, you're right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you really got to cut that out, man. Exactly right. No, the consistency is not really a thing. When you get the groups that want to ban guns or marginalize gun owners, it's kind of like, we'll pretty much do anything that we would consider reprehensible if it was done against us or any of the causes that we believe in. But we will engage in these reprehensible and sneaky tactics to go against gun owners and gun ownership because it's all for the better good.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. See, we just had to recalibrate you, man. We're going to send you to the re-education camp now.
And Paul,
well, the government already tried that, I think, or they want to, so don't be helping them out.
Yeah, and Paul, there was an update this week on the baker. He ended up getting, I guess, I don't know if exonerated is the term, but he ended up winning his case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Supreme Court won
in Colorado. We got another one in Oregon that has yet to be fully adjudicated,
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, I'll just keep listening.
And for those who, thank you, sir, I appreciate that. For those who don't know, the baker did not refuse to sell a cake. He just said he wouldn't do basically a decoration of a particular decoration they wanted to do. He said, I'm just not going to do that one. He said, but I'll be happy to sell you a cake for your wedding. Mm-hmm. And that never got talked about.
Well, sure.
In the media.
It doesn't fit the agenda.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Tell you what, let's take a quick break here. We'll come back with some more after show.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
You know and trust Springfield Armory. Now that trusted gunmaker has an AR-15 rifle with all the features you want. The Saint features a mid-length gas system, a heavy tungsten buffer, and a 16-inch chrome Molly barrel with a 1-in-8 twist rate. Plus, the Saint has Bravo Company's Key Mod handguard. The next generation of America's personal defense rifle. See video of the Saint in action at Springfield-Armory.com. That's Springfield-Armory.com.
And we're back. It's more after show because this part comes not before, but after. See how clever I did that, guys?
Yeah, that's.
Remember that one time we tried to do the during show and it just got so confusing?
You need help. You just need help.
Now don't sugarcoat it, Tom. How do you really feel?
Michelle, I'm so glad you're back. Did you bring medication for Jim?
Yeah, the refill's sitting at the pharmacy. I have to pick it up.
That's right. Walgreens is called. You can pick up your order anytime.
I called it 10 minutes into the show.
That's right. Yeah, and make it a double.
Nice, guys.
Oh, I completely forgot on the show today. I was going to talk about blowing up safes, and we didn't get to do it. But we got to blow up gun safes.
Wow.
Went out to, and the guys at Liberty Safe, they're always doing fun stuff like that, demos. And they had a bunch, like 100 dealers out there. And they had their demolition guys, they had det cord running through a ditch, so when the water blew up, it looked like the Bellagio fountain. and then it went off inside of this pond and blew all the water out. And then they had a competitor safe in one of theirs. And I will tell you, I expected it to show the difference. I had no idea. And they, because the competitor safe was lighter, they only used 10 pounds of explosive under it. And they used 15 pounds under the Liberty Safe. So more explosive under the Liberty Safe. The competitor safe blew up. It went up in the air with pieces and fragments going everywhere. It's a good reason, thing that they had us, 300 yards away, something like that. It was crazy. The Liberty Safe we had 4 cameras on it, maybe 5 cameras. It went out of frame on all of them.
Okay.
Wow.
It probably went 200 feet in the air, honestly.
Holy cow.
I mean, it's 600-pound safe. And it's just like, we timed it. It had a 9-second hang time.
Wow.
And then it came back down, and of course it hit and smashed it. When we walk up there, the door's still locked.
Oh.
It didn't pop open, didn't tear any of the seams open or anything. All the wells held. First of all, it was impressive, but then it's just really cool. Blowing stuff up is always cool.
So it just went up in the air. Nothing came apart.
Went straight up. No, nothing came apart.
Wow.
And it was interesting. To get it to go up, what they did is they buried a 55-gallon drum of water underneath each one, and then put the explosives in the water, because the water gives you this jet of hydraulic pressure going straight up. Mm-hmm. And then they put a big steel plate on and put the safe on that. Otherwise, this would have just ripped right through the safes. It's interesting. He said, that's what we do when we're doing breaching, like doors and things. Oh. Mm-hmm. He said, you can use an IV bag with explosive and it will cut right through a door.
Wow.
I never heard of such a thing, but I got to go out and try it now.
Who needs a locksmith anymore?
Who's safe for you think?
Yeah, I think. Do you have a storage unit with like a big door we could practice on and see what happens? Yeah, but it was cool. It was really fun.
Well, they are a company, correct me if I'm wrong, that has their safes independently checked, correct?
So I don't really know what kind of testing they do. I just know that they beat up a lot of safes and really do a lot of stuff. I know that they do the fire protection testing. They have some certifications on that. Mm-hmm. But if I remember right, I think more than half of the gun safes in the country are made by Liberty Safe.
Wow.
Just different names put on.
Huge. No, just Liberty. It has just Liberty Safe. They're not OEM-ing them. No, this is just theirs.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's clearly a difference in the quality. You get spot wells on some of these other ones, and Liberties are not made that same way. I mean, I'm not trying to pitch for them. I just know that I've been impressed by them.
Right. Well, and I know on the consumer side that they have customer service, bar none. I mean, they are unlike anybody else. They will send a locksmith out to a home and get that person into their safe after a fire has happened.
Right.
I mean, they are fantastic. And if you have an issue with the lock, they replace it. So they are awesome to work with. They really are.
It's funny. I asked Jamie you got the safe on the ground. It's beat up. It's been blown up and everything. I said, so will your guys come out and open this up? He says, yep, our customer service guys will come right out. We'll open this up, get all your contents out for you. Well, that's cool. Now, there might be shaken and not stirred in there.
Right?
I said, but it's kind of like a tornado picking it up and, just carrying it and then dropping it.
Right? Wow, fascinating.
So it was fun. So we got to do that. We got to shoot at that 300-yard underground range at Barnes. That's like the dream of anybody who's a real shooter. Holy cow. No wind, no worries, just, a big tunnel to shoot into.
Yeah, can't get any better than that for accuracy.
No. I think what you do is you just get you a big backhoe and have a big ditch dug and then put a roof on it, and now you have an underground tunnel to shoot in.
Huh. Everybody should do that.
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Now, you do need 300 yards, but, what if you ran it underneath your neighbor's house? How would they ever know?
Depends on the caliber, I suppose.
There's that, yes. 50 cal. I don't know. We're suddenly getting cracks in our foundation.
Yeah. Our drywall was fine before.
That's right. Pictures. Our house is haunted because pictures keep jumping off the walls.
Nobody else felt the earthquake? No one?
That's a 6.5 on the Gresham scale.
Oh, man. Fun stuff. Oh, gosh. So, Michelle, you were starting to tell us about shooting in the rain. And now tell them what the event was.
Well, it's skirmishing. It was Skirmishing Nationals, and it was held down in Virginia. And, it's always rainy season when we go in for that. So
Good planning.
Yeah, always good planning. And, of course, there's a nice runoff creek that runs right through the property, so flooding is always a concern too. But yeah, if you weren't wearing rubber boots of some sort, you were not going to. You weren't.
You're going to have wet feet.
Yeah. And, just good mud when we were done. Just
wonderful,
greasy,
wonderful.
And the black powder guns are easy to hold on to, anyways. With lube and black powder goo all over you, and then you add the rain.
All over them.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. No problem.
Exactly.
But it was fun, and it is like going to a family reunion when you go back onto the range that you haven't been there for a year. It's a family reunion. The camaraderie, you just pick up where you left off, and different teams mingle. It doesn't matter where you're from, statewide, or it's fantastic. So there's nothing like it. People should get involved because we say all the time what a great family it is, and that's exactly how it felt. It felt like a family reunion. So
it is, and
awesome.
And I think it's probably that way in many ways in a lot of different shooting disciplines. If you're a USPSA shooter, you see the same people at the shoots, year after year. You got to go back. And that stuff is fun. But for some reason, and I don't know what it is, I think the black powder community is a little bit different.
Of course we are.
Of course, because you shoot old guns and you don't have the sense to buy a new gun. What's wrong with you people?
Right, I know. No, I think you're right. I mean, I would say it was a slower pace, but that's not the name of our game. I mean, we're trying to take down as many breakable targets as possible in short of a time frame, and that's how our competition works. So it's not like reenacting. People get those things confused, but
the difference is you just time the time between shots. You guys measure with calendars.
Sundial is their stopwatch.
Right.
Nice.
Right. So anyways,
I think maybe we'll take a break and we kind of regroup and come back from that.
Okay.
All right, back in a second.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
All right, we're back here. So we know what Michelle's been up to. Well, some of the things that she's still in the witness protection program. We can't really talk about this.
Right.
She's been up to her knees in mud.
That's right. The Mud Maven. So, Jim, how's your week?
My week's been crazy. It's a big season music-wise has started. Obviously, it's summertime. We do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that, and
you playing a lot of gigs, or what are you doing?
Playing lots of gigs, lots of high-profile gigs actually are coming around, which is cool.
Yeah.
My sister had surgery last week, so I went to visit her, and we spent the entire time talking about my bodyguard and if I would trade her pink LCP for my bodyguard.
Oh, I was going to say, who's your bodyguard?
Yeah.
So who gets to be his bodyguard? That's a job nobody wants.
So you keep talking like that, you're going to need the second kidney taken out, lady. She really loved it. She loved the bodyguard. She thought it was too cool. Oh, my God, it has one of those lighty things. That's what we call. That's a technical term.
Yeah, we call it a laser.
Laser.
But she thought it was cool. She's like, wow. And she picked up on it because she's never shot a gun with it. She's like, you really don't even have to expose your whole body. You could just lean around something, put the dot on them. And I'm like, yes.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of people don't get that concept at first.
Oh, no. It was the first thing that she said to me. I'm going, wow, that is amazing. You picked up on that. But yeah, it was cool.
Interesting.
So when she's up and around, they're going to get her a little bit of training here. And
yeah,
because she's cool. My mom's 91. She still comes out and reluctantly shoots.
Reluctantly.
She does.
It's the same way I shoot.
They don't make you... reluctant on that trigger there, Tom.
Yeah, that's right.
She's not anti-gun. She's just like, well, if it makes you guys happy, I'll come out and shoot.
That's interesting.
Fine.
91 years old.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll show you boys how to do it.
Right,
I'm
that's
done.
usually what it
That's
turns
right.
out to be.
That's right. That's right.
Must we do this again, James?
That's it. Are you a slow learner? Never mind. We always established that. It's okay.
I'm 58, Mom, but I'll go to my room. You don't even have to say.
That's right. That's right. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, you guys should be up here. It is chilly. It's middle of the day, and it's 50. It's our high today.
Oh, I think we have your swamp weather right now.
Muggy,
yeah.
Muggy.
People don't understand the Midwest gets hot and humid. You're muggy.
Mm-hmm. But there's always a saving grace.
Yes?
Winter?
One of the most beautiful parts of the country, northern Michigan. Oh. 5-hour drive, and you're in God's country.
Yeah. So how far up do you like to go in Michigan?
Anywhere north of Grayling actually starts to get pretty cool, which is about middle of the... Look at your hand. It's your middle finger's knuckle. Middle knuckle where it touches the bone.
I have been to Grayling, Michigan.
Is that with the thumb up or the thumb down? Because I'm confused with how that works.
Slightly protruding.
Am I on my head or am I standing on my feet?
It's about a 45 off to the right. How many other states can you do that? I live in Wyoming, and you hold your hand up, and the guy's like, great, show me where. You know?
Doesn't work that way.
No, but Michigan's got it going on. North, you've been there, right, Tom? It's gorgeous. And the further up you go, the better it gets.
It is, yeah. I went to Grayling back when Bear Archery was based there. Fred Bear went there when he was having his 80th birthday, went out hunting with him. Interesting guy. That was very cool. And then, of course, been up to, is it Clare, Michigan? Yep, because there's a really cool sporting goods store there. And then I've been to Traverse City and the peninsula up there. I've not been up to the upper peninsula. Yeah, Field Sport in Traverse City, of course, is fabulous. Brian Belinsky's place. But I've not been to the UP.
UP is gorgeous. I mean, it really keeps getting better the further north you go.
So somewhere about middle of Canada.
Canada, you're in great shape. Yeah. But you don't have a pistol with you, I can guarantee that.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not going. So there you go.
Solve that.
Just not doing it.
Yep.
There it is. Oh, yeah, Michelle, you missed it, but last week we talked about it. I went out with some friends here locally, and one of the ladies, which said, everybody bring your guns, and one of the ladies had a Ruger in .327.
Oh, imagine.
So they're shooting 32 H&R from Black Hills, little light loads. And then they had a load I was not familiar with, but it's a Hornady self-defense load, but it's reduced recoil.
In a 32 H&R?
I know, in a .327.
In a .327?
So the question is, if it's a .327, why do we reduce recoil? I guess they can, just from a marketing standpoint, but...
Well, if it's a self-defense round, why would you reduce it?
That too.
But could it be burn rate, where it's The recoil is just stretched out longer?
No, it's marketing deal. That way you can go out and shoot your defensive load, and it doesn't kick a lot.
Right.
Because a full bore 327 Federal is a big, heavy load, isn't it?
It can be, yes. Mm-hmm. And I know they make those lights in 9mm and 38 Special as well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So,
but they don't fit in the 327 that good.
No, sir. No, yes. Thanks.
You have to hammer on them to get them in, man.
Tap it on the primer. It works.
Yeah.
The brass tends to fall right on through.
Yep. Just flies right out the barrel. There it is. So, the reduced recoil is also known as the less effective load.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Are you even going to notice a bigger recoil if you're in a life-saving situation?
No. Of course not. It's only for when you're shooting at the range. But no one. Now, here's the deal. Not only will you not notice the recoil, you won't hear the gun go off.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Inside of a building, people shoot and they don't hear the gun go off.
Well, how many times you shoot them? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, that's always the case. And if you have a number, if you take a guess, it'll be wrong, and then they'll say you lied.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just saw a story about a guy who I think I talked about on the air. Spent a year and a half in jail while they were trying to get him to trial. Maybe I didn't talk about it. He shot a guy who came at him with scissors.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he made the statement, says, well, maybe I didn't really have to shoot him. He goes, that's why we always tell you to not say anything.
Shut up.
Because now you had to spend a year and a half in jail while your lawyers undid what you did.
Right. And in a situation like that, it's not considered false arrest or anything, right? He's got no real recourse?
No.
So he's just lost a year and a half of his life and income and everything else. And probably his marriage. And
his rights to own any firearms in the future.
No, not
well, but he was not convicted.
Oh, he was not. Okay.
He was a year and a half in jail waiting for the trial.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, see that's wrong.
Yeah, I guess he just couldn't bail out, or they wouldn't let him bail out. Sometimes they hold him without bail. So once again, one of the reasons I say, have a membership in one of these groups. I like that Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. There are some others.
Marty's, yeah.
Yeah, but you need the backing of somebody like that who you can call and they say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get experts in there. We're going to talk to the DA. We're going to talk to your lawyer. We're going to find you a lawyer if you don't have a good one, because your personal family lawyer is probably not the right one on this.
Right.
We're going to bring in people like Masada Ayub and John Farnham and these guys who, have law enforcement background and can basically help the DA sort it out. It's like, I can't remember if I ever told you the story about the friend of mine that I helped. And the DA was just trying to make political points by prosecuting somebody. And it happens. They got to get reelected. Mm-hmm. And I said, here's what you do. Call the DA's office and say this. And he did. And he called me back. He says, he dropped all the charges. I said, yeah, I know.
Well, and they're going to want to win on these hot buttons like this right now.
Yes.
Are you going to tell us what you said, or aren't you at liberty?
He was going to charge a young man who had accidentally shot and killed a young woman. And it was a pure accident, but he wanted to charge him with like negligent homicide or something.
Right.
And my friends were the parents of the girl who got killed.
Oh.
And they didn't want this. And so I said, just call him and say, this is going to be really simple. In 2 hours, we're calling a press conference as the parents of the girl who was killed and say, you're trying to dance in the blood of our daughter for your political career.
Oh, you give me chills.
Oh, my God.
And it went away.
Which shows his impetus in the first place.
Yes. You understand what's going on here. That was what was going on.
Wow.
So, yeah. There it is. And so you need a team who knows those kinds of things. And that's I really do. It's like, and you guys know the drill. Yes, they ended up becoming an advertiser here, but I was paying my money to be a member of this group long before that.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that's what I believe in.
You believed in them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're crazy. If you have guns for self-defense and you don't have that backup, I think, you're running around completely exposed.
And it's not a huge amount of money a year either.
No, I mean,
$120 a year or something.
Yeah, it's $120 a year. It's basically Starbucks money.
And if you never use it, great. Fantastic.
Yes.
And all the money I save on Starbucks by not going there.
That was just for a latte.
That was your 1 month at Starbucks,
No
right?
kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For $4, they call it. Yes.
$6.
There. Yeah, I guess I don't go, so I don't know. I still like I don't like to have to play the whole venti, whatever. So I just want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
They go, well, which do you want? I want a cup of coffee.
Just plain coffee.
And I become obnoxious. I said, I want the large. It's like they don't know what a large is. Is it the
You mean the
venti?
grande?
Is it the
No,
grande?
the
No,
large.
just the large. Whatever that is. Get that one. Give me that one.
There's currently a thing on the web about a guy going into a Starbucks kind of place, and they ask him what he wants, and he tells them what you just said, basically, and they come at him with 3 different things. He's like, no, venti doesn't mean that. Here's what it means. So then he goes on, and he goes on a very polite ramble on why they're all idiots. So he says, now you've managed to embarrass yourself in 3 different languages. I'll take a small black coffee.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. All righty, guys. Well, it has been a pleasure as always. Michelle, it's delightful to have you back.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm glad you had fun at the Skirmish. I guess it was a FEMA-sponsored flood event.
Right. I almost had to send out the range flag just so they could find us. Yeah.
Slogging our way through the range.
Oh, it
Here
was.
we go.
Yeah.
Never shot off pontoons before, but this will work.
Oh, it was still fun.
Oh, it's always fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Exactly right. As long as you didn't lose anybody, you're good. Of course, then again,
yeah.
the mud's kind of deep. There could be somebody still down there.
And there were no lifeguards on duty during this event.
Great. Love it. Okay, guys. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk after show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk after show.